I want to welcome everyone tonight to the 14th Annual Florence Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's an exciting time for all of us. Put a lot of work in all year in selecting these inductees, and tonight is going to be a tremendous time for these Florence athletes, past, present, and future. And I want to benefit from this appreciation tonight. Thank you so much for coming. At least it's not raining, finally. We are extremely proud of our Florence athletic heritage and all of our hometown heroes who have entertained and inspired us over our long and illustrious history of sport. Tonight, we are fortunate to have the opportunity to introduce you to 6 of those outstanding people who have earned the distinction of the class of 2019. I am Mark Wade, president of the organization, and I would like to introduce you to the dedicated Hall of Fame Board of Directors who have volunteered numerous hours for this night. I'll ask if you'll stand. Some might be out there at the table still. Secretary Missy Burgess, planner, Sean Ellersby, Vice President Denny Ellerby, David Hanna, Gerald Holly, Melissa Gerald, Jeff Jeffers, Bobby Montrose, Treasurer Rocky Rekovich, Derek Urquhart, and Carlos Washington. Thank you so very much. And this time, if you would, just give them a round of applause for their hard work. At this time, I'm not going to call by name. We always leave someone out. But I would like to recognize all of our former Hall of Fame inductees at this time, if you would just stand. Around. We have plenty back here in this area right here. I'd also like to recognize any members of our city and county council. If you would stand at this time, city and county council. And also our Florence School District 1 board members we have here tonight, along with our superintendent, Dr. Richard O'Malley. If y'all would stand. Also, our special guests, Florence Center Commission Board, who have really supported our efforts from the beginning. Do we have any commission board members? I'm actually one of them. I'm already standing, but I'm not sure if we have any others here. Okay, thank you. None of this would be possible without our sponsors. If you look behind me, our title sponsor, Chick-fil-A. You can look on the banners and see the others. On behalf of us all, I would like to welcome you to 2019 induction ceremony. We have an outstanding program planned for you tonight, so just sit back and relax and enjoy this memorable celebration. And at this time, I want to introduce our MC. Most of you probably know him, a native from Louisville, Kentucky. Bob recently entered his 37th year in public education, serving at West Florence High, Wilson High, South Florence High, and Francis Marion University. Bob was assistant basketball coach at West Florence for the 1986 state championship team, and head basketball coach at Wilson High for the 2007 state championship team. In 2011, Bob was inducted into the Francis Marion Athletic Hall of Fame as a player and a coach. In July 2013, Bob became only the 3rd athletic director in the history of South Florence High School. In 2016, the South Florence Athletic Department received the Award of Excellence from the South Carolina High School League for exemplary display of sportsmanship, integrity, and ethics. A member of the National Interscholastic Athletic Administration Association, Bob completed requirements in 2017 to receive his certified athletic administrator status in the NIAAA. At this time, I'd like to bring to the podium Bob Wilson.
Mark, thank you for that warm welcome, and it was 1986, not 1886, although to high school students that I deal with every day, that doesn't seem to make a difference. It's all the same to them. Once again, I consider this a great honor and privilege to host this program. I look forward to this every year because of a variety of reasons. One of which is I see a lot of familiar faces. And in this room are a number of people that have made a significant impact on athletics in Florence, South Carolina. And seeing all these familiar faces, and many of them longtime friends, it reminds me that in athletics, success very often is based on successful relationships. The inductees each year speak of those relationships, whether it be player-coach relationships, or teammates, or perhaps even adversaries that over time realized they brought out the best in each other and had a shared experience in athletics. And it is those shared experiences that are at the very core of what athletic participation is. Once again tonight, with the induction of 6 new members into the Florence Athletic Hall of Fame, we have the opportunity to have a shared experience as we spend the time to recognize these individuals for their accomplishments and their contributions to the city of Florence and the Florence Athletic Hall of Fame. Right now, we would like our past inductees who are present tonight to stand. If someone is representing one of the past inductees, if you would stand as well. I just had the list here. Here it is. And if we would hold our applause till all of the inductees or the past inductees are introduced. Pearl Moore, Joy Walters, Jack Lewis, Larry Alexander, George Bradley, Lawrence Timmons, Bull Lee, Melissa Gerald, Richard Sells, Curtis Hudson, Jerry Lee, Leslie McAllister, David Hanna, Bobby Shaw, Kissy Height Merrifield, Nathaniel Skibo Turner, Ron Turner, Tommy Johnson, Bob Schuster, Michael Hawkins, and Bob Klankeneck. How about a nice hand for these Florence Athletic Hall of Fame members? Right now we have some special recognitions, and I would like to call Board President Mark Wade to the podium. The first are citations for corporations and individuals that have given a significant contribution to the city of Florence through athletics. The first is the Florence Center. The Chick-fil-A Florence Athletic Hall of Fame recognizes the Florence Center for their contributions of providing and hosting numerous and quality sporting events, programs, and teams for the Florence community. They are recognized for being a reliable source and for their professional service on a departmental and individual level for the Florence community. So, who's representing me? Paul Beard, if you would come forward for the presentation for the Florence Center.
He promised to kiss me on the head.
And Dennis Sullen, if Dennis would come forward. The Chick-fil-A Florence Athletic Hall of Fame recognizes Dennis Sullen for his contributions to athletics in our community. Dennis was a high school basketball official from 1978 to 2001 and an ECIA college basketball official from 1995 to 2002. Dennis was elected into the South Carolina High School Basketball Officials Hall of Fame in 2010. He served as the South Carolina District 6 Director of Officials from 1994 to 2005 and worked closely with the City of Florence Recreation Department during that time with the training and scheduling of the adult basketball officials from 1990 to 2010. Dennis worked 39 years of state service with the Department of Mental Health, Department of Disabilities and Special Needs, and Circle Park Behavioral Health. He has served on the DDSN Board of Human Rights Commission since 1998. Just a few minutes ago, I spoke of former adversaries that over time become friends, and I would be willing to bet that 35 years ago when Dennis was officiating basketball games I was coaching, he never foresaw the day that I would be on a podium addressing a large group saying nice things about him. So all of these things can be true. Thank you, Dennis. Right now, Robbie Smith is going to present for our state championship teams in the area.
Good evening. Thank you everybody for coming out tonight. Every year we like to recognize our area state championship teams. And we're fortunate this year that we have 3 teams to recognize. First is the Florence Christian football team. I believe that they're represented tonight by their head coach, Neil Minton. Is Neil here? Let's give them a round of applause. The second championship team tonight is the Maranatha Christian School boys basketball team, and they're represented by their head coach, John Spencer. Our third championship team is the Kings Academy boys shooting sports team. Their head coach is Chris Mann. I'm not exactly sure if anybody's here to represent them, but let's give them a round of applause also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robbie. And hopefully by this time next year, we have even more state championship teams from our area to recognize. Tonight's guest speaker is Jerome Singleton. Jerome is the commissioner of the South Carolina High School League. A native of Hollywood, South Carolina, Jerome graduated from Baptist Hill High School, received his undergraduate degree from Newberry College and master's degree from Clemson University. A product of the South Carolina Public Schools, he combined his love for his home state and academics by becoming a South Carolina career educator. Commissioner Singleton has served as educator, coach, and administrator in the public school systems of South Carolina his entire career before accepting a leadership position with the South Carolina High School League. Jerome served as both Assistant Executive Director and Associate Director of the South Carolina High School League before being named Commissioner of the South Carolina High School League in 2005. He is responsible for the governance of athletics in 214 high schools and 213 middle schools. Nationally, Jerome has served on several National Federation of High Schools committees that promote interscholastic athletics. He recently served as the president of the National Federation of High Schools Board of Directors and presently serves as the NFHS Hall of Fame Committee Chairman. Jerome is married to the former Jacqueline Gibson of Hartsville, South Carolina. They have 3 children, 2 sons, a daughter, and 2 lovely granddaughters. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerome Singleton.
First, giving honor to my Creator. He's been such a blessing to me. He's able to do for me what I couldn't do for myself. Good evening. It is truly an honor to be invited to this wonderful occasion. And it's especially humbling for me to have been asked to serve as the keynote speaker for such a prestigious event. It never ceased to amaze me that anybody be interested in what this old country boy from Hollywood, South Carolina would have to say. So before I go any further, I want to stop. And I want to say to the audience, thank you for receiving me, because this is truly an honor. I'd also like to give recognition to my best friend for over 36 years, and that's my wife, Jackie. I am a better person today because of her love and her support. And I want to publicly announce in front of everybody, baby doll, I love you, and I really thank you for supporting me. Thank you. Yes. To Coach Wade and other members of the board and other sponsors and organizers of this event, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to come in and reconnect with some friends and establish some new friendships. This is truly an outstanding event. To the Hall of Fame inductees being inducted tonight, to you, I say congratulations. And I'm so proud to be able to lead this audience in one more round of applause for you. You worked hard. You worked hard, and your efforts have served you well. So it's only fitting that we gather here tonight to celebrate your accomplishments. You're about to become a part of a very elite group. Probably didn't even imagine that this was going to happen for you. But you're part of a very elite group. You saw the other Hall of Famers that stood. So you're about to become a part of a very elite group. And it's not just because of your athletic prowess. And I think you can get to be all-staters and players of the year and coaches of the year through your work. But it's through your character of where you're inducted as a Hall of Famer. So it's based on your character. A great friend of mine, by the name of Jeremy Boone, always says that if your presence don't make an impact, then your absence won't make a difference. If your presence don't make an impact, then your absence won't make a difference. I think that's fitting for tonight, because I believe your presence has made an impact. I think there are two opportunities that presents itself to you as a coach and as athletes. And one of those opportunities is to be an example or a warning. Because of the things that you do, you have a lot of people looking up to you, that see you as a role model. Now, you could have chosen to be a warning, one that says, don't be like him, don't be like her. But you chose to be an example. Why don't you be more like him? Why won't you be more like her? So you took the high road. You chose to be an example as opposed to a warning. The other thing that you could have had was, are you on a pedestal or a platform? With all the great things that you've done, you could have taken the opportunity to place yourself on a pedestal and have everybody come to you and praise you and tell you about all the great things or how great you are. But no, as a Hall of Famer, you chose to use all those things great to have a platform. And with that platform, you chose to be a servant. And you were able to take the things, were able to take the notoriety and the popularity that you have and do other great things with it. As I said before, you are in a position, I always have been in a position to be a great influence. We all look at athletics as one thing that everybody can connect with. So want to or not, you are a role model. You chose to be an example. You chose to use your accomplishment as a platform. As I said before, as my buddy Jeremy says. If your presence don't make an impact, then your absence won't make a difference. I really appreciate this opportunity to come before you. Congratulations again, and thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you, Jerome. And as someone who goes to league meetings several times a year, I can tell you that probably the average person out there has no idea the kind of issues that Jerome deals with on pretty much a daily basis. The whole nature of high school athletics has changed dramatically from the time when most of us participated, and there are still significant changes to come. And one of the things that Jerome does a great job with is informs we athletic directors of what's on the horizon, what's coming next, because there is always something coming next. And Jerome, we really appreciate that, because you inform us of a lot of things that we don't know are coming, but they are coming sooner or later. At this point, Porter Stewart, Florence One School's board member, is going to deliver our invocation.
Thank you. Excuse me. I'd like to take a few minutes in leading up to the invocation. I have done this every year, and this is the 14th year. As I was sitting there reflecting on that, my new school board colleague, who's going to be recognized tonight, Davy Gregg, I was thinking, if this continues, which I hope and trust that it will, by the time he's my age, if he continues to come to this program is going to look like Webster's Dictionary, because we've got every class in here. So that'll be a lot of years, won't it? I have to get a lot of sponsors to help out with that as we go forward. As we move into the invocation, and I guess this is complimentary of our speaker's remarks and intended to be so in transitioning to the meal, I would also call your attention within the program, within the book, I think it's about 5 leafs in, there's a recognition of 2 individuals who passed away this past year who were certainly very involved in athletics in the Florence community and contributed to the well-being of these programs, both by way of sponsorship and by publicity. And that would be Mark Hazelton, who was with the newspaper, and then also David Pate, whom I actually personally knew better. He had served actually on the Florence board and on the Boy Scout board, and I had known him a number of years, but he and Mark both represent the best of our community by way of public spiritedness, selfless service, and looking out for the interests of others. What strikes me about sports, and I've used this illustration before, but I'd like for you to think about it too, is that in sports there's rules of the game. For instance, one of our recipients was, I understand, somewhat involved in the sport of tennis. Is that right, Mr. Nelson? Well, if you don't have a net, what's the point? And in baseball, if there's no bases, what's the point? No goal line, what's the point? No goal on the basketball court, what are you doing there? So there are rules of engagement, but the rules are what give purposefulness to the activities. And so you strive to excel within the rules of the game. And within the process of that, you undertake sportsmanship and teamwork, leadership. You learn to follow rules and follow directions to look out for your teammates. But then also there's the larger community as well. So everything's part of that. It's not just what's on the court or on the field, but it's those that participate and support, such as the David Pates and the Mark Hazeltons who are out there in the community as well. And so it is with life also. We also have rules of life. Whatever your background or whatever your faith or your orientation, you understand what I'm saying. Without the rules of life, what's the point? But more importantly, if you cheat at sport, then you've cheated yourself, just like at life. So I think that the translation that brings us here tonight, and I hope that the recognition is part of this, is that we come here to celebrate those who've excelled on the field, but the example for us then is to excel within life, within the responsibilities which have been given to us. So I wish that you would ponder upon that as we now lead into the invocation and giving of thanks. If you would join with me. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to gather tonight. We thank you for the service of those who have made this possible and continue to do so as part of this board. Also, those in the community who have supported these endeavors through the years. We give thanks for those who are being recognized, for those who enabled them to so excel, and for the service and example which they offer to us and remind us of the rules of engagement, the rules of life, the tasks, the good works that you have given us to excel in, not as ends in themselves, but as means to serve others and to lift up into glory that which you would have us do. We ask that you would bless this food to our nourishment, us to your service, and it's in Christ's name that I pray. Amen.
Our first inductee this evening is Davy Gregg. A 2001 graduate of Wilson High School, Davy was a 4-year letter winner in baseball and was an all-region and all-state player his junior and senior seasons. His high school career culminated with Davy being named Florence District 1 Male Athlete of the Year in 2001. Following his career at Wilson, Davy went on to play for Coach Ray Tanner at the University of South Carolina from 2001 to 2005, where he played in the 2004 College World Series. At USC, Davy was named to the SEC Honor Roll in 2004 and 5, and won the Tom Price Award for dedication and work ethic in 2005. Following his playing career at USC, Davy was drafted by the Chicago Cubs and in 2006 won the Peoria Chiefs Care Award for community service. Upon his return, Davy graduated from the University of South Carolina in 2008. In November 2018, Davy was elected to the Florence One Schools Board of Trustees and is currently serving his first term. Ladies and gentlemen, 2019 Florence Athletic Hall of Fame inductee Davy Gregg and his presenter, Dr. Rich O'Malley, Superintendent of Florence One Schools.
Appreciate it.
Y'all probably didn't hear the comments that Dr. O'Malley said, but he was praising a Gamecock for getting an award. So, y'all, as y'all do know, he's a big Clemson fan, but I try not to think about that. So, now I'll try to keep this kind of short and brief. My kids tonight said that they had to get home and watch live PD. So, well, I'll try to help y'all get to that. But first off, I just want to thank the Lord, my Savior, Lord Jesus Christ. I'm just a saved man, and none of this would be possible without Him. So all glory goes to Him. Second off, I want to thank my wife, Bridget. Been married coming up on 13 years next week. So I love you. Trying to step my game up for the speaker tonight because his wife was pretty impressive. So I couldn't do it without you, and my 3 kids here. I want them to stand up because they all want to come up here on the stage with me tonight. So give them a little recognition. Try to embarrass them. But also my mom and dad are here tonight. So I appreciate everything y'all done for me. It's been a blessing, and hopefully this will somewhat repay y'all for all the times y'all have taken me around, travel with me, all the siding I broke on the house, and all the pickets and stuff I broke. So hopefully this is a testament of repayment to y'all. Also, my grandmother's here tonight. Also, thank you for coming. Also, my in-laws are here also, so thank y'all. I don't want to, you definitely don't want to forget them. So, but no, they traveled. They did travel from out of town. So, and also I would like to thank and congratulate all the other inductees tonight. So, congratulations to y'all. This is a wonderful ceremony here tonight. As y'all know, baseball is my main sport. So, baseball is a very funny game you play. You fail 70% of the time, and you still get in the Hall of Fame. That's kind of crazy statistics, but that is what does happen. So hopefully it's not how you act when things don't go your way that really define who you are. As you all know, that sports doesn't last forever, so you're always wondering about what you're going to do after sports. And in baseball, in my case, I was always preparing for life after baseball. So college education was a big thing in my life. So my life looks a little different now from baseball. Been married almost 13 years next week, and I'm raising 3 kids. Work a full-time job at Duke Energy, so I'm steady. Got stuff going on around the house, and then work's also crazy at times with hurricanes and things of that nature. My 2 girls are in ballet and gymnastics, and I really don't know anything about it. I try to go to the practices when I can. I go to the Nutcracker and things like that. So I'm there for you, but I really don't know what you're doing. Now, on the next note, my little boy, he's 4. He's going to sign up for T-ball this year. So that I do know something about. So hopefully I can get out there and coach him and really be on the stage with him, and kind of like my dad did with me. So. I do make him hit off the tee about 100 times a day. I'm just picking. I don't push it on him, but I do hope that he will grow up, be successful. Not even at baseball, any sport he wants to choose or whatever, as long as he's active and respects the coaches that do coach him. Just as long as they're active outside and they're good listeners and play hard, that's all I can ask for. So, but as I reflect back, I know my time's limited. As I reflect back on some of my greatest memories playing ball, they were with Coach Hudson. Playing at Wilson High School. It was great times and a lot of fun times with you. Also, playing for South Carolina, Ray Tanner. That was a remarkable coach to play for. I still talk to him occasionally. I reach out to him, and I try not to bother him. I know he's a busy man, but it was really a blessing to play for somebody like that, so talented as a coach as he was. Playing in the College World Series, that was a huge thing that sticks out in my mind always. Playing 28,000 fans strong, and all the beach balls, y'all see it every year. And I was an outfielder, so I'd always run out there, and they had the fishing string tied onto them and pull them right back over the fence. But that was a vivid memory of mine, playing college baseball. Also, getting drafted by the Chicago Cubs, that was really awesome. Also, after getting drafted, I got to travel around to Boise, Idaho, and Peoria, Illinois. So that was something else that sticks out in my mind. And last but not least, the day me and my wife got engaged, we caught a car on fire. So that was in Boise, Idaho. So that's a pretty vivid memory of mine. That probably wouldn't have been there if baseball wouldn't have been in the way. So all these memories are really etched in my brain. But one thing that I hope I displayed in all these events that took place is my character and my attitude. And by that, I really mean the way I played, how hard I played, my attitude, win, lose, or draw. I hope I had a great attitude, and I hope that I displayed that to everybody here tonight. So, in closing, I'll close with a great quote by Chuck Swindoll. He's a preacher out in Texas at my church, Florence Baptist Temple. He quotes him a good bit, but he says, "Attitude is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than what people do or say. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on one string we have, and that is our attitude." I hope that over the course of my career, I've displayed a great attitude and a great character while playing a game I love. Thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you, David. Our next inductee is John Franklin Holland. John is a 1976 graduate of South Florence High School, where as a senior he was named Team MVP, All-State, and All-American, and was presented the Sports Illustrated Merit Award for baseball and led the Bruins to the Class 4A State Championship Series. In 1977, John signed with the Houston Astros and as a catcher and played 8 years professionally, reaching the AAA level where in 1985 he played for the Syracuse Chiefs as they won the pennant. John attended spring training with the Astros, Pirates, and Yankees under major league contracts and later served as a player coach in the Toronto Blue Jays organization. Ladies and gentlemen, 2019 Florence Athletic Hall of Fame inductee John Holland and J.T. Carroll from Chick-fil-A.
I can get emotional too now. I know I don't look like I can. Thank you. I just appreciate this opportunity. I'm honored to be here in this beautiful place and to represent my family, friends, and my Savior, Jesus Christ, because He's the one that got me here. I'm thankful for the support and prayers of everyone who's been here for me on my journey all the way here. Thanks to my mother and my father who sacrificed and worked hard for our family of 4 boys, Buster, Smitty, Freddie, and me. They worked hard. They went in many directions to support us, no matter how far it was. And our athletics, and to support our careers in athletics, and 3 scholars educated us in being respectful to believe we could always trust in God. I'm thankful to everyone else who supported our teams in Florence, like the Florence Recreation Department, Billy Jeffers, J.J. Jeffers, like Rocky for all these years. It takes a lot to get teams out on the field and everything that goes with it, from the umpires to the referees to the trainers like Charles Nelson, equipment managers like Ted Mulholland. That's the one I remember. Thanks to Post 1 Legionnaires, especially Lee Morgan and others that supported us, that got us to the games and took care of everything for us. All the citizens of Florence who supplied the uniforms, equipment, and food like Eat More, John's Drive-In, and many more after the games. Oh yeah, and don't forget the scoring stat keepers like Ray Tanner and Henry Rose. They are all team members. Thank you. I'm thankful to my coaches, from Mr. Purvis, Mr. McCall, Lukey Brunson, Tommy Lewis, Ladson Cubbage, Jim Wall, Gerald Griffin, and David Keefe of the Florence Giants, and Jody Rush, who's here, my high school coach. my pro-career supporters, from Branch Rickety III to John Lippon, Bobby Dews, Bruce Dale Canton, Grady Little, Doug Alt, and while in the off-season, Bob Klein Connect, Tommy Johnson, Curtis Durant, Lee Darty. I appreciate it. Y'all made me feel at home when I came home. And this is my home and always will be. Also, thanks to all my teammates from the small fry and up. There's no I in team. Thanks, Florence, my home sweet home, where I found another career in sales. Thanks to Toy McCord, Dave Hemmingson, Robert Hyman, and Jesse James at Hyman Paper and Chemical Company, my new home, my new team. Thanks also to the Florence Athletic Hall of Fame team for this opportunity to express my gratitude to all. Thanks to my brothers that have supported me and loved me. I'm so proud of you all and who you represent. Ooh, here it comes. Last but not least, my wife Annette, for showing me what true love really is and what God can do for a marriage when you put on the uniform of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Our next inductee is Kathy Height James. A 1966 graduate of McClinigan High School, Kathy won the Southern Junior Golf Championships in her junior and senior seasons. Following her graduation from Winthrop, Kathy continued her golf career, winning the Women's Southern Amateur Golf Championship in 1970 and becoming the 7th-ranked world amateur. Kathy joined the Australian LPGA in 1973 and joined the U.S. LPGA in 1974, and in 1981, won the Corning Golf Classic. Kathy is a member of the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame, the South Carolina Golf Hall of Fame, the Winthrop University Athletic Hall of Fame, and now the Florence Athletic Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, 2019 Florence Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Kathy Height James, and her presenter, Lindsay Timmons.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here tonight. This is such a thrill. I'm with so many incredible athletes. Congratulations to all the inductees. You guys are great. So happy to have my husband here all the way from California, and all my brothers and sisters here and there. Thanks, you guys, for coming. And I just can't believe it's been a year since I was sitting at that table over there watching my baby sister Kissy getting inducted. And now I'm here tonight. This is one hell of a way to have a Height reunion. My parents were great supporters of art, music, and sports. My dad sang in the church choir. He participated in the little theater, and he played the flute, the piccolo, and the Florence Civic Orchestra. It's a cute story. My dad, after the war, came back to Florence with Mama, and he called all of his buddies. He said, "Hey guys, let's get together and have a Florence swing band. You guys come over to the house next Saturday and bring your favorite instrument, and we've got some beer and wine. We'll have a fun time and get together and just start a band." Well, everybody showed up the next week, but they brought violins and oboes, and one guy brought a harp. So instead of the South Carolina band, the Florence band, it turned into a civic orchestra, and it's still flourishing today. So that's a cute story. Now, my mom, she was the great athlete. There wasn't a single sport that she couldn't play. The rumor had it that she would make grown men cry on the ping pong table. And that's true. But she also loved tennis. That was her favorite sport, and she actually was the winningest ladies tennis coach at Francis Marion. Right, Kissy? I think. And also they have a scholarship made after her. So pretty proud of Mom and Dad. And I say, okay. My parents always encouraged all of the kids to find a sport or a hobby and just work hard at it, give it 100% and make it your own. Well, if you couldn't find a sport or a hobby, there was always a job at the back of my daddy's warehouse. It was a sticky, disgusting, awful job of putting South Carolina stamps on cigarette packages. It was awful. So we all found a nice sport to take care of that. That's how I got into golf. And, right, Carrie? Wasn't that a yucky job? Okay, let me tell you a little bit more about my family. Carrie is now my older brother, Carrie, is the current super senior South Carolina champion of South Carolina, shooting a 68-70, and he's 71 years old. That's pretty damn good, isn't it? He's a retired doctor with 3 beautiful children. He's got a lawyer, a doctor, and a CPA. I think he's well taken care of, don't you? Arnie is my middle brother. He's still an economics professor at Southern Junior College in Charleston, and his son Jay is a practicing cardiologist. And he only has 300 more miles to finish the Appalachian Trail. He's going to do that this June. Go, go. You're going to make it. And my middle sister, Sally, is a local educator. She loves being married and being the mommy of her 2 little Maltese puppies. And my baby brother, Peter, is a little computer whiz, and he's just so much fun. We love little Peter. Why do I call you little? You're 6'5", yeah. But he's got 2 darling kids, and they're great little entrepreneurs. And Kissy, everybody knows Kissy. She just, her baby, Little Height, just entered Wake Forest about a couple of weeks ago on a full 4-year baseball scholarship. And Costner's doing great in real estate, and everybody knows about Witt. He was just an MVP player for Kansas City for last year, so terrific. Growing up in Florence was idyllic. It was just an incredible place to grow up in the 50s and 60s. I was lucky enough to have Grant Bennett as my mentor and my coach. He was incredible with junior golfers. He had a way of making the game lots of fun, I really enjoyed it, competing, and he also taught us how to respect the game too. And Florence, every summer there was always a tournament going on. I know they had the Florence Junior Invitational Women's and the Boys Junior, and sometimes some state or Carolina event, but it seems like there was always at Florence Country Club. So I was really lucky. I was lucky enough to win a few. But my most memorable was the Southern Amateur. I just graduated from college, couldn't wait to get out of school and go to the beach and party, party, party with all my friends. Well, I didn't know it, but my father had entered me into the Southern Amateur at Pinehurst No. 2. a big $15 entry fee. And he says, no, 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 you're not gonna go party, you're gonna go play in that tournament. And believe it or not, I did. And before I knew it, I was in the finals of the Southern Amateur, and it was a 36-hole finals. And after 36 holes, it was dead even, so I had to play 3 extra holes to finish that. But it was pretty special because all my brothers and sisters were there and got to just have a great time celebrating with me. That was great, and I think that was one of the reasons I turned professional later on in life. Okay, I did join the Australian Ladies Tour in '73 via Japan, but I joined the American LPGA in 1974. And I want to tell you a little bit about the history of the LPGA. It was started like in 1950 by 13 women that wanted to play professional golf. And they just finally got together, wrote some bylaws. They wore all kinds of hats. There were chefs, chauffeurs, publicists, coaches, you name it, they did everything. Their average purse was like $1,000, and they had like the first year, in 1950, they had like 13 tournaments, and the accumulative purse was like $20,000. So compared to $70.5 million today. We've come a long way, baby, haven't we? But the purse is, like I said, was $1,000. So after the tournament, and they would get everybody and all the fans there, and they would have like a little talent show. And Babes Zaharias would play the guitar or the harmonica, and the girls would dance and tell jokes or give clinics, and after an hour they'd pass a hat. And everybody had to put some money in the hat, and that was the only way they could get gas money to the next tournament site. It's a true story. So they were driven women. And so I played on the tour for 14 years, and I'm so grateful for those passionate, incredible women that paved the way for all of us LPGA pros today. We've come a long way, baby. And I'm gonna, I'm gonna close with saying thank you again for making this night so special, and to thank you for loving and supporting sports and athletics, especially here in Florence. Thank you.
Our next inductee is another golfer, Greg Jones. Greg is a 1999 graduate of West Florence High School, where he was named All-Region and All-State 4 consecutive years. A 3-time American Junior Golf Association All-American, Greg continued his golf career at Clemson University, where he was a member of the 2003 NCAA National Championship team. Following his collegiate career at Clemson, Greg was ranked the 7th ranked world amateur prior to becoming a professional. Ladies and gentlemen, 2019 Florence Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, Greg Jones, and his presenter, Woody Jones from the Florence Center Commission.
Whew. Good evening. what an honor and a wonderful evening. I'm super thankful, and I want to congratulate all the other inductees for all their wonderful accomplishments. Obviously, the board for letting me be a part of this wonderful group. I'm truly honored. Tonight brings back lots of wonderful memories for me, and to me, that's what it's all about, and that's what we have, to look back on, is all the things you've accomplished and the wonderful memories. But the one thing that stands out to me the most will be that 2003 national championship team. We were preseason ranked #1, and we never lost that #1 ranking. And if I believe I'm correct, we're the only team that year that's ever to this day won the conference, regional, and national championship in the same year. So to me, that's the one thing that really sticks out to me to this day. I have lots of people I want to thank, lots of friends and family that are here. A few people I really want to recognize that have been influential in my career. Mike Schroeder, who taught me all growing up, who recently passed away. Coach Larry Penley and Clemson University for giving me an opportunity to be a part of something so special. Obviously, my family, my uncles, Stewart's here, Webb's not here. My in-laws, they're here, thank you. My wonderful wife, we've been going on 12 years of marriage. She's been with me for 19 years, so she's obviously been a big part of my whole career, so God bless you. My poor sister, who got drugged around all over the Southeast as a kid, probably had to watch way more mini rounds of golf than she would really have wanted to, but so I'm sorry, but thank you. But really, tonight, my parents, who sacrificed so much for me, sorry. Thank you, and this is just as much for y'all as it is for me. So once again, thanks everyone. I appreciate everyone coming out. I'm truly honored, so thanks.
Our next inductee is Charles Arthur Charlie Nelson. Charlie is a 1967 graduate of T.L. Hanna High School in Anderson, South Carolina, and Clemson University, where he was student athletic trainer for football, basketball, and track. Upon graduation, Charlie began his teaching career in Florence and continued his athletic training, and was a Florence 1 athletic trainer from 1971 to 2017, a total of 46 years. As boys tennis coach at West Florence High School, Charlie had an overall record of 588 wins against only 108 losses. At West Florence, Charlie led the Knights to 4 state championships and was named South Carolina Coach of the Year 5 times, and in 2017 was named National Coach of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, 2019 Florence Athletic Hall of Fame inductee Charlie Nelson and his presenter Blake Pate from Chick-fil-A.
I want to first thank the Hall of Fame for the recognition they're giving me this evening. I feel really honored to become a member of the Hall of Fame. This would not be possible if it was not for God and for all the things that He did in putting certain people in my life and helping me with my career. I'm not going to get emotional. The only time I got emotional tonight is when Dr. O'Malley had to hang that medal around the Carolina's neck. But I apologize, Dr. O'Malley. You know, it could have, you know, been worse, but I do apologize to the Hall of Fame for doing that to you. There are a lot of people I want to thank tonight, so many people. I'm just going to pick out a few. My first role model, of course, was my dad. My dad worked for the telephone company in Anderson for 40 years. He was also the director of First Aid. Being the youngest member of the family, I always got to be the person he would practice on. So that helped me to develop a loving for, you know, sports medicine, for being taped, for bandaging, all that. But he also got me into scouting. My first merit badge, as you would probably guess, was my First Aid merit badge. So that's one of the best ways you could ever start out in a scouting career. My sophomore year at T.L. Hanna, the coaches and athletic director came to me and asked if I would be the student trainer for football. You know, how hard could that be? Well, took a lot of time, a lot of hours and everything, but it made me really develop a love for athletic training and sports medicine. I contacted Fred Hoover at Clemson, and he called me in, we talked, and I got a part-time or got a job working for him. I worked 4 years as an athletic trainer, a student trainer for him, and he also kind of guided me after I graduated. He told me, there are no high school athletic trainers in South Carolina. Don't you want to start a program? Well, we had two people. Both of them are Florence Hall of Fame members. One, Whitey Jordan, coach at Clemson. He said, I'm from down in Florence. Won't you look at Florence for a possibility? The other one was Jim Frazier. Frazier came the year after I left to go to college, but we became friends. Frazier, Florence is the place you want to be. One stadium, same stadium they had back in '71, they still got now, but all four teams, at that time we had 4 high schools here, all 4 teams played at the same stadium. So guess what? My Thursdays and Fridays were gone completely. If I wanted to go to a Clemson game, my wife and I would leave about 10:30 on Friday night, pull into Belton, get some breakfast, and then head on up to the stadium. Not a whole lot of sleep in that, but you know, back then we were younger and we could do a lot of things like that. Speaking of my wife, Greg Jones, no, not Greg Jones, David Gregg. You said 13 years, I got you by 30. My wife and I have been married 43 years. Now, my family is right over, there they are back there, and you know, how she put up with me, and I'll recommend, no woman wants to marry a coach, that's for sure. But for 43 years she has put up with me, and it has been, you know, a give and take. I probably took more than I gave, but my daughter, granddaughter, that's the heart of our life. That's Livy over there. She is, you know, we've waited on a grandchild for a long time, and she's probably more spoiled than any person you could ever imagine. But taking you on quickly, because I know we're on a time limit, I decided to apply for a job, met with the personnel director for Florence District 1. Back then they only had 4 people running the whole district office. I'm not going to ask Dr. O'Malley how many people run the district office now, but those 4 people did a great job. They offered me a job at Pointer, teaching shop. What did I know about shop? I knew that if somebody cut their hand off, I might could replace it or something like that. So, you know, I thought it might be a good fix. So I did that for about 2 years, and then they found me a job teaching, where I started with South Carolina history and then worked on up to health, and then eventually they had already told me, you know, you're going to be trainer for 4 different high schools and all that. The one person that I wanted to mention quickly was Dr. Hunter Stokes. Dr. Hunter Stokes was very instrumental in making sure that we had everything we needed for sports medicine. He had an ambulance at all the games, he had a doctor at all the games and everything. The other one was McLeod Health Sports Medicine. They helped me to get a trainer for the other 2 high schools. Eventually, because of a grant, we were able to get training rooms, state-of-the-art training rooms for all 3 high schools. It took me 45 years to accomplish this goal, but it was well worth it. Now, during all this, in 1982, I got a call from my athletic director at West Florence. He said, one simple question, can you keep score at a tennis match? And I kind of, what? I said, yes. He said, you're the new tennis coach. I said, okay, I'll do it for 1 year. And I would have never thought I'd be doing it for 35 more years. Mainly because not only was I given great talent, but there was a lot of people in Florence that were very helpful. I had people like Mike Springermeyer, Archie Smith, Larry Rizzo, Richard Stower, and FMU's Garth Thomas, who were the ones who really helped me to develop my program. And I have to give them credit for so much because most of my kids took lessons from them or anything else like that. But the big thing were the team moms. Got one right over here. She not only gave me one of my top players as her son, I got 2 grandsons from her that also were top-notch players. So, and I mean, over 35 years, you can imagine how many team moms were there. I also had great family support for everything that I did. We started out my first year and ended up finishing 5th in the state. Within 2 years, this same little group, because I had a lot of 9th graders playing, ended up winning back-to-back state championships. This gave me the fever. This is why I didn't want to leave and I didn't want to retire. I eventually put in 45 years in teaching, 46 years in coaching tennis, and 47 years into sports medicine. Now, the whole key factor is I truly love what I did. And I looked forward to every season coming about. And once again, it's my honor to be selected among all these other outstanding individuals. Of the 102 individuals in the Hall of Fame before we became members tonight, 65 of them either I taught, they played for me, or they became a part of my athletic training program. And you know, I am so thankful. I had student trainers, I've had some great athletes. Joey back there, he was one of my top-notch people I spent a lot of money on tape for. So, you know, I appreciate so many. I can't go through every athlete because you can imagine in 47 years how many athletes I worked with, especially with 4 high schools. But I just appreciate this award so much. Thank you.
Our final inductee this evening is David Shaw. David is a 1973 graduate of West Florence High School, where he was a 3-sport athlete, named All-City in football, basketball, and baseball. As a senior, David was named the Marvin Lynch Award winner for Outstanding Male Athlete at West Florence. Following his high school career, David received a baseball scholarship to Francis Marion College, where he was named co-captain his senior year and helped lead the Patriots to a 68-41 record and the 1976 District 6 Tournament Championship and an appearance in the NAIA Area 7 playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, 2019 Florence Athletic Hall of Fame inductee, David Shaw, and his presenter, Mark Drummond from Chick-fil-A.
Wow, this is quite an honor, particularly going in with the group that we're going in with tonight. I mean, that's an outstanding group, I think. I'd like to thank Chick-fil-A for sponsoring this event. I'd also like to thank the committee for selecting me to go into the hall with so many other notable people that went before me. I'm truly humbled. I'd like to thank Coach Tommy Johnson for nominating me. Tommy's a 5-time Hall of Famer in his own right, and Tommy, I appreciate it, and your friendship means a lot to me. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my parents. My parents always supported me in everything I did, and they were always there for me. They made sure I had all the equipment I needed to participate, made sure I was able to get to all the games, all the practices. I'm forever indebted to them. I'd like to thank my brothers, Paul and Bobby, who were great athletes in their own right. Both of them encouraged me, they helped me, they practiced with me, they played with me, and they also gave me some constructive criticism from time to time, even though I thought none of that was warranted. So I really appreciate what y'all did for me. Y'all mean a lot to me, and thank y'all. I'd like to also thank my teammates and my coaches. I was fortunate enough to play with a lot of teammates. Some of those guys are in the Hall of Fame now, and a few of them are here tonight. My teammates made me an awful lot better than what I really was, and made my job easier too. Probably the fact that I'm most proud of is my senior class won 83% of all sporting events during our high school careers, and I think that was a pretty good accomplishment. I also like to talk about my coaches. I was fortunate enough to play with a lot of good coaches, for a lot of good coaches, but not only that, more importantly, I thought they were good men. And a lot of the values they taught me and things like that stick with me today. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, Florence Athletic Hall of Fame Board President Mark Wade with the closing remarks.
Just want to congratulate all our deserving Hall of Fame members. This honor is well overdue, and I think you will be outstanding leaders for our future inductees to follow. As I call your name again, please rise for a round of applause and then make your way to my right, your left for the pictures. Davey, I'll start with you since you're already up before you could try to get you before you get back over there. But Davey, Wayne, Greg. John Franklin Holland. Kathy Height James. Francis Greg Jones. Charles Arthur Nelson. And Marvin David Shaw. I can now officially welcome you into the Florence Athletic Hall of Fame.